Last week, we began learning Rav Soloveitchik's essay, The Inner Transformation, on Pesach night. At the beginning of that essay, Rav Soloveitchik discusses how all of God's actions, just like any event in the world, requires a response from us. We respond to God's physical actions, the way in which God changed the course of history or changed the world, through the mitzvot. Many of the mitzvot relate directly to something that God did. But we also, the Rav writes, have to respond to God's attributes. And on Pesach night, God employed two attributes. The attribute of Havdalah, separation or distinction, and the attribute of Gvura, heroism or courage. The Rav continues this explanation by quoting the Zohar. The Zohar says, "Come and see. All the food of the world comes from on high. For that food which comes from heaven and earth is the food of the whole world. And that food which is the highest is the thinnest, for it comes from a place in which din, strict law, is found. And that is the food the Jewish people ate when they left Egypt." According to the Zohar, matzah is the food that is the most refined, because it contains nothing more than the bare essentials which are needed to sustain oneself. The Rav explains that the Ari HaKadosh, the famed Kabbalist Rabbi Isaac Luria, expanded on this theme. The Ari wrote that God has two ways of dealing with the world. God deals with the world through either hashpat panim or hashpat oref. Hashpat panim is a direct and intentional way of giving vitality to the world, whereas hashpat oref is a more broader and diffuse manner of injecting vitality into the world. The Rav explains what this means through a metaphor, that of turning on the light in a dark room in order to read. When you go into a dark room in order to read, you have two options. You can either turn on the ceiling light or a reading lamp. If you turn on the ceiling light, light will be spread broadly across the room. It won't be focused on where you want it to go. But if you turn on the reading lamp, the light will be focused exactly where you need it the most. So too, God can deal with the world by injecting vitality in a broad and overflowing way, by giving us a lot more than we need to sustain life, a lot of extra things, which on the one hand might seem better, but also can be distracting and perhaps even overwhelming. Or on the other hand, God can give intentionally and specifically just what is needed. In order to access this level of existence, in which we receive only exactly what is needed from, as the Zohar put it, the highest places in God's mind, we too have to live that type of existence. It can't be an existence of happenstance or coincidence, but instead one of intentionality and purpose. And we live that type of existence, one with purpose, through embodying those attributes that God embodied on Pesach night. Havdalah, separation, creating boundaries for ourselves, sanctifying ourselves, and also through Gvura, living a life of heroism and courage. When we do that, we live a life of intention and purpose and can access the vitality that God injects into the world with purpose as well. We'll continue learning the essay tomorrow.